This is Luc Sperl's take two on his rough animation, advancing it a little bit further on the scene that he is doing an exercise for. It's looking really good. Let's take a look at what you've done here, Luke.
All day. I was thinking maybe.
That little girl is a child. I don't want to see you sniffing around her anymore this afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it. What you're looking for, ain't nobody going to help you out there. Jesus can come through that door, and he's not going to help you if you don't stop sniffing after my child.
Okay.
All day. I was thinking maybe.
That little girl is a child. I don't want to see you sniffing around her anymore this afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it. What you're looking for, ain't nobody going to help you out there. Jesus can come through that door, and he's not going to help you if you don't stop sniffing after my child.
Okay, so a few things that I would suggest. I think you've got some really nice posing. I think you resolved some of the issues that we had talked about in the last version. But I think it can be strengthened just a little bit more by doing a couple things. One is there's a couple poses in this that make this feel a little bit too over gesticulated, meaning it's just overdone a little bit too much, and I've dropped a few of them. I've also retimed a few of the poses just to better sit with the dialogue and give some passing phrasing for some of the things, so you're not always on the nose with the phrasing on everything. So anyhow, let's walk through it. So I've extended. I've got a new layer here. Now on this layer, I've extended this opening pose so that it's a little more seated with stuff. Okay. So let's walk through this. This pose, since it's the beginning pose, I feel like maybe you're not giving it enough consideration. What could be going on in his mind at this moment? How could his body movement or gesture or change of posture or shift of weight or something, a little expression change, how could that convey how he's feeling? And maybe he's receiving something or he's seen something. Where is he coming from? What ticks him off in order to launch into this thing? So think about that. I will probably extend that movement. Child is such a strong thing. I want to hold on it a little bit longer. And I'm not sure this posture, child, with the hands out and open palms up, is contributing much of anything. I think it could be eliminated. And it's a little bit too much jammed in there, so it doesn't feel right. If you had a little more time to spend in there, it might work. But that's one I'm going to drop. This is nice. I don't want to see you. Although, because you do the point later, I would probably get rid of this one too. And go right into this. And this is kind of an interesting pose here. Sniffing around with his hands up. There's some strength there, and I would want to spend a little bit more time working within those poses. Sometimes when you get really strong poses, instead of going to another pose, you want to drop other poses so that you can spend time on your stronger poses, and you break little moments down within those poses, right? So you have the main pose, and then you're using that as a guide and doing variations on that same pose. So find some business in there to develop that. Boy, have you lost your mind. It's so explosive. I want to see him, boy, explode up into that. And I'd want to tighten up that his action here. I've lost your mind, so it feels like it. Now, sometimes these things are so strong and the movements are so long to conclude. You want to think about where you're going to hit that accent, that strong, punchy accent in the line, at what part of the action. Where is it going to feel the strongest? And so I think I would delay, because you have it here as lost your mind, so that he's leaving, the hands are leaving on mind on the big part, and I'd want it to be out. Lost your mind. So that's anticipating it a little bit. And here, this one too, find it, so strong. I'd want that, find it. I want that hitting the accent. I'll help you find it. I'll help you find it. And then this pose here, I love this, where he breaks and he looks. I'll help you find it. It's almost like, I'll help you find it. And it's like almost he's going to go in a backhand. It's got a nice punch to it on its own right here. So I'd almost want that to be my leave. That's the pose I'm leaving with. It's impressed upon the viewer right at the end of that movement, just to give it a little beat there, just to snap up that movement. And this is nice. Now he points at Jesus, right? Jesus could come to that door. I think what I'd want to do is spend a little more time on this pose. And I feel, it feels to me like if in that kind of an energy, Jesus could come through that door. And the door is what he's pointing at, right? It's not Jesus that he's pointing at. He's pointing the door, right? Jesus come through that door, right? So I'd want to delay it to hit on that. And here you've got this anticipation into a stronger point. The whole thing is really strong, so it's like you're going into strong point and then a little bit stronger point with an exaggeration in the same pose. So it feels a little bit redundant and just movement that's not selling. So I would pull back. I would make that all one move. I would make it one move here. And I like, because you're down in this pose here, I want to get up in this pose here, this high pose, because you're going down, out, up, more narrow, feeling like he's a little bit more stretched. Stay up there a bit. Just stay up there a bit. Find something that helps you carry over before you get down in that next one where you go down into that. You're sniffing after my child. So that's stronger, right? So that you stop sniffing after my child. Okay, so what I've done is I've already duplicated a line. And I've got my version up. So I'm just going to play my version. That I've dropped out the stuff and I've retimed some things. And you can judge for yourself whether it's stronger or not. It's your scene. Do what you want with. This is my suggestion.
All day. I was thinking maybe.
That little girl is a child. I don't want to see you sniffing around her anymore this afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it. What you're looking for, ain't nobody going to help you out there. Jesus can come through that door, and he's not going to help you if you don't stop sniffing after my child.
Okay.
So, a little bit longer here. I do some action in here. This is a nice pose. I think if you resolve this pose, rather than it being an anticipation, it's him. You know, he's back here like this, and then he's talking to you. What is he saying here? Oh, he's getting ready. He's getting ready. He's looking at him, maybe. This is where he's thinking, and he's getting... It's like, did you really say what you think? Are you really doing what you think you're doing? What I think you're doing? Kind of thing. So I would make it sort of like... I hate to say double take, because I think that's sort of cliche a bit, but it's like... He's seeing this. He's like, I'm not sure about this. And then he gets down like, did you really? So make something out of that. And then he jumps into it. And he comes down, child. And here, this is just a happy accident because I just took what you had. I dropped everything. I didn't do any in-betweens or anything, but it looks like he's doing some little internal, subtle head shake and body movement of the shoulders. I don't want to see you. So I thought sniffing around, instead of being something where you go boom, boom, see you, like you see you sniffing around anymore. Stay in that because that's really nice posing right there. And I feel like you need to relax here a bit. So he's staying there. See you anymore, stick around. So add another pose at the end where he's a little bit more relaxed. Do you understand? Now this one here, because I've timed it to, do you understand? You did too, I think, in there. You had it. I tightened it up just maybe a touch. Do you understand? You need a little bit of a jump in there. You understand? And then, obviously, you're going to have to go, boy, it's explosive. Boy, have you lost your mind? And I stayed up here. Boy, have you lost your mind? Kind of thing. Boy, have you lost your mind? Because here he's like, and I'll help you find it. And there's that pose. Little pause there. I got 10 frames there. And here, this is sort of a slur where he starts on that next line. What you looking for? What you looking for? Nobody's going to help you. What you looking for? Nobody's going to help you. And so here, but Jesus could come through that door. You know how those faith healers sometimes, Jesus could come through that door. Think of it in terms of music. That's the way I break down dialogue. I think of it in musical terms. What could you really do musically here? How is that translating into action and movement and fluidity, agitation? And I just went straight down into that. Jesus, come to that door. Jesus could come through that door and help you. And he strengthens on that. And here I stayed up here. And if you don't stop sniffing at my child. One thing to think about it, as I was talking about working in picking a pose. And like this one I delayed, I stretched it out so you could work in it a little bit. The thing to think about when you have these poses that you stay in and you want to find some new things, often when you're wide, you're using the whole body, right? You've got the person, their head, their hands, right? Love my drawing, don't you? So you have this sort of pentagonal kind of thing working. You often, if you're seeing the full body of somebody's movements, the head, these points. In fact, if I just erase these points, that sort of communicates. If I know that that's a head and these are hands and these are feet, that sort of tells me what the body posture is. So those are the extremities, and they give you a sense of gesture, of attitude just by their position, right? So that's what you've been doing mostly in your thing. You're in a full shot. So you've got mostly this, and these hands are flying around. And it doesn't matter. You can detach them wherever you want. But these parts are the parts, and the spinal movement, your line of action, is what you're using most here to convey. Now, when you settle on a pose that you want to break into some more poses, often what you can do is just focus on the head and the shoulders, right? The hands and arms, they can be there more subtly, but focus more on the details of this relationship, this triangular relationship here, because so much can happen just in the head and shoulder position relationship. It's what we call the shoulder girdle. And so in that shoulder girdle, you can do a whole lot in there in terms of acting and intentionality. And so that maintains the pose. So if you got a really cool pose where the hands are, already in a place, just move those shoulders around. That head turns over here, and that shoulder lifts, and that one drops. And that's one way to think about just breaking down your poses into a simpler form to find some variation with them to make those things work stronger in the storytelling for that moment. So
All day. I was thinking maybe.
That little girl is a child. I don't want to see you sniffing around her anymore this afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it. What you're looking for, ain't nobody going to help you out there. Jesus can come through that door, and he's not going to help you if you don't stop sniffing after my child.
okay. Anyhow, that's it. I think it's a great exercise, Luke. I like where you're going with this, and let's go for the next one. Next round. Move ahead.